Hello everyone, welcome to Desert Succulent, and today we will be featuring a succulent that is very easy to grow and it's very hard to kill. And I'm talking about itong ating Kalanchoe Tomentosa, or its common name we have yung ating Panda Plant. Itong ating Panda Plant is a vertical growing succulent, so pataas yung kanyang growth, and in fact it can grow up to 2.6 feet tall. They are native to Madagascar, and we can put yung ating mga Panda Plant both indoors and outdoors, but we have to remember that if ilalagay natin sila sa indoor, they can actually grow but they can hardly bloom when grown indoors, so hindi siya magkakaroon ng flowers. This is a close-up nung leaf nung ating Panda Plant, and isa siya sa mga succulents na kakaiba yung kanyang leaf. Pansin niyo yung kanyang leaf is parang may mga buhok-buhok siya. Just in case na you are using your bare hands, hindi rin siya makating hawakan. So kung hindi pa kayo nakakita ng actual na Panda Plant and hindi nyo pa rin siya nahawakan, its texture is very similar sa ating felt paper. Yan siya. I don't know exactly yung color ng kanyang leaf, but it's more on the light green side. And yung kanyang edges, may pagka-brownish. So let's have a 360 degrees. Itong ating Panda Plant. Ayan siya. And also I have ito. It's the same thing, but here we call it as yung ating chocolate soldier. So most of the time, tinatawag natin yun as our Panda Plant, and this one is the chocolate soldier. But if we're gonna check on Google, pareho lang sila ng botanical name, which is the Kalanchoe Tomentosa. For this, it's very similar doon sa nauna kanina, but the only difference is this one is a little bit darker. Yung kanyang leaf itself is color green to dark brown. Ayan siya. Sa kanyang light requirement, itong ating Panda Plant appreciates yung bright or indirect light. And unlike other succulents na gustong-gusto nila ng sun exposure, this one does not do well in direct sunlight, and it's very susceptible sa burn or sunburn. In cases na naging leggy na yung inyong mga Panda Plant, you have to move it to a brighter location. Sa kanyang water needs, they can be characterized as having yung low water needs. We need to allow the soil to dry out thoroughly between waterings. During summer or hot summer months, we need to water it more often. And in my case, I do water itong ating mga Panda Plant every 2 weeks. You would see naman na it's already completely dry, not just on top, but also hanggang dito sa pinakababa, it's completely dry. As with most succulents, yung ating Panda Plant requires yung dry while draining na soil mix. And in my case, again, I'm using a combination of, ayan, we have yung ating pumice stones, we have yung ating cocoa peat. I also added some compost and some vermicast dito sa ating soil mix. You can always buy yung mga pre-packed or pre-made na mga wall-draining soil mix na readily available sa mga garden stores or online. Pag-usapan naman natin yung temperature and humidity. They enjoy yung ating dry conditions. And yung average household humidity is perfect for these succulents. However, this succulent is not as heat tolerant as other succulent species. Kasi they might suffer during extreme heat, especially dito sa Pilipinas during summer season, na when choosing a location, dapat hindi siya dun sa area na talagang naaarawan siya. Kasi yung ideal na temperature range for our Panda Plant is from 15 degrees to 23 degrees. And I think yung 38 to 40 is already too much para sa kanya. Next is all about fertilizing. And it's not really necessary for us to fertilize itong ating mga Panda Plant. However, we can always fertilize them at the beginning of the growing season. And the best time for us to fertilize them is during this month. Again, I'm using the Osmocote fertilizer. Kuha lang tayo ng So this is what I usually do. Osmocote is very safe to use sa inyong mga succulents. Nandito sa pot na to is already stable and mature enough, kaya we will start to fertilize it. So ilagay lang natin siyang ganyan on top. The nutrients na nandito sa ating fertilizer will be slowly released. Ayan siya. And you can do this every 3 or 4 months. Ayan siya. So, if we will talking about the potting and repotting nitong ating mga panda plant, they are relatively slow-growing succulents, and yung pag-repot sa kanila would happen generally once every couple of years. This one was repotted 2 weeks ago. Kasi if we will be repotting our panda plant, we need to do this during the active growing season, which is these months, because it will be able to tolerate yung mga disturbances more readily, diba? So if we will be repotting them during the summer seasons, I think mas mahirapan silang mag-adjust since it's not really their growing season. And as of now, here is an update after 2 weeks natin siyang i-repot dito. So far, okay naman siya. Ayan siya. So kanina, tinanggal ko siya dito. This is how it looks like pag nag-dry na siya. So nakikita nyo ba yung parang buhok na nakadikit sa kanyang leaves? Ayan siya. So very detailed. Ayan siya. So sobrang ganda nitong succulent na to. And also, yung ating mga panda plant, they are not picky sa kanilang potting containers, and they can do well when potted in nearly any planter like this one. Of course, again, this is my favorite kind of planter, yung ating mga microwavable na transparent containers, so I can easily see what's happening. And the only thing that you need to consider is yung kanyang drainage hole. So, meron tayong drainage hole sa ilalim that will help to prevent yung ating overwatering. In general, yung ating mga succulents do well in terracotta pots kasi yung mga terracotta pots natin helps absorb yung excess water from the soil. Regarding yung toxicity nitong ating mga panda plant, they are considered toxic to both cats and dogs. So if you are someone na may mga alagang pusa or may mga alagang aso, if ingested, this succulent may result in vomiting or diarrhea as well as an abnormal heart rhythm sa inyong mga alaga. Lastly, we have the propagation ng ating mga panda plants, and they are actually a little bit harder to propagate than regular succulents. Kaya trial and error lang pag nagpropagate kayo ng inyong mga succulents. They can be propagated through their leaves and the separation of their offshoots or yung kanilang mga offsets. I tried to propagate yung isang leaf nito before, but sobrang tagal ng kanyang growth and eventually hindi siya nag-survive. And the best thing for you to propagate this is through yung ating stem cutting. So for example, this one. So originally, one stem lang siya. But now, nagkaroon na siya ng dalawang offsets, which is this. Ayan siya. So this is the very first one and this. So sa ngayon, pwede na nating ihiwalay or i-cut itong isang stem na to and this one, and we can just replant it. But I'm not gonna be doing that one. Mas gusto ko na malagong tignan yung ating mga panda plants, especially na vertical yung kanilang growth, and it would look nicer if they are in clumps like this. So naglagay lang ako ng stick dito temporarily para mag-help to anchor yung ating panda plant. And for common pests and diseases, we need to watch out for common houseplant pests such as, for example, yung mga mealybugs, ganyan, scale, and yung mga spider mites. Ang problem ko lang dito ngayon is yung mga ibon sa taas kasi they are not really attracted sa plant itself, but they are attracted sa soil na ganito. Yung ibang leaves, ayan siya, is covered with itong ating soil. It's because of these birds na naglalaro dito sa ating pinaka-soil. But there's no any problem kasi you can just easily brush it off or ihipan nyo lang siya. And also, another thing na gustong-gusto ko dito sa succulent na to is kahit na mahawakan nyo yung kanyang leaf, it won't really affect it or it won't change any of its appearance, unlike dun sa ating mga echeverias na pag nahawakan mo yung kanilang farina, then medyo pangit na siyang tingnan. And we are done with our panda plant. And right now, umuulan sa labas. And it's really the perfect time for me to water itong ating panda plant since 2 weeks na siyang hindi nadidiligan. So 2 weeks after nyong i-repot yung inyong mga succulents, don't water them yet. Then after 2 weeks, you can start watering them. And before we go outside and expose it doon sa ulan, I would like to say thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You may also visit our Facebook page at Desert Succulent PH for more updates.